Hi, this is Steph from Ferret-World, and today I'm going to be talking about what cage I use for my ferrets and also what other cages are really good for ferrets as well. So the cage that I use for my ferret is actually called a Ferret Kingdom cage, and I got it on eBay in Australia. So the reason why I got this cage was because I actually looked for, I did a lot of research online and I found that the best cages for ferrets were Ferret Nation cages. However, I think the Ferret Nation cage 147 or something like that, or something, I don't know, this was ages ago that I did the research, and what I found was that those cages were not available in Australia. So I researched and researched, tried to look at making custom cages in Australia so I could make something custom that was similar to the Ferret Nation cage, but nothing came close. But then I jumped onto eBay and found the Ferret Kingdom cage, which is pretty much the same as a Ferret Nation cage, and it opens up. So it has wide doors at the front. So you can see that it has wide doors at the front. So instead of, we used to have a cage where we used to have little doors and they were a nightmare to clean. So to actually get the pooper scooper and have to clean the ferret's cage. With these ones, it's really simple because you can remove everything. Can you hear the kookaburra? Come on. So with these ones, you don't actually have to, you can just easily open the whole cage up at the front, which makes really for great access. And then I can just remove anything that I want to remove very easily. And they have a few different platforms that they can wander on, and it just makes cleaning is the biggest thing because you need to clean your ferret's cage on a daily basis. And having this cage allows me to clean it up in about 5 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes, and it's done without having to struggle and try to get my hand through a hole, and then having, you know, our previous cage, the ferrets were able to open the doors on them as well because they were just little click-on doors, and they learnt to open them and they would get out. So we had to tie them up. So in order to clean the ferret's cage, what we had to do is lift the whole cage up and get to the bottom area where their litter was and clean it. Then put everything back on, and putting hammocks in there was a nightmare because I couldn't get my hands properly through and kept hurting myself, bumping against the cage because it was so tight. So having this cage has been a complete godsend. So if you are looking to get ferrets, I would recommend just going straight for one of these cages, and it's big enough to have 3, I'd say. 3 is probably the most. I think 4, it was a little bit too many ferrets in there, but for 3 ferrets I think it's perfect. And they have 4 levels that they get to run up and spend time in, and then they also get then it's really easy for you as well to clean their cage too. So this one is called the Ferret Kingdom cage. Sometimes they're available, sometimes they're not. If not, then keep looking. And I think they were produced by Puppy Power or imported by Puppy Power in Australia. So if they're not available in Australia at this stage, then I'd contact Puppy Power and see when their next shipment is going to come through, and maybe even pre-order one, because then you know at least that you will get an awesome cage. And we've had this cage for, how long has it been there since we've had this cage for about 5 years now. 5 years. And it still works perfectly. The door is a little bit clunky to close. We actually have to push it in, but that was our fault because when we were cleaning it, when we deep cleaned it, took it onto the grass and hosed it down, we actually kind of placed it on its door, and it bent the door back a little bit, so it's a little bit harder to close the door now. The only thing is now it's starting to rust a little bit where the ferrets have peed, and sometimes they get it on the cage, so in certain places it's starting to rust. Kookaburras.
Hi, fatty. Who's a fat cat? I'm a fat cat. Enjoying the sunshine there, Rocococo? Mm.
So if you live in the US or in Canada, also you may be able to get the Ferret Nation cage. That's the one that I initially wanted, and there's different sizes, so see which one suits you. I got the for me, I wanted a really big cage so that when we're not at home, when we're at work or anything like that, then we can they have room to move around. So always make sure that your ferrets have room to move around, to stretch out, to change positions, to wander up and down, especially if you're at home quite a bit, at work quite a bit. And so we wanted to have a big cage just so that they can have all the freedom that they need, and then once we get home we can let them run around for 4 hours, and then they can just crawl back and sleep in their cage. So make sure that you get the biggest cage possible that you possibly can. And Ferret Nation, and this one is the Ferret Kingdom cage, which I got in Australia. So hopefully that has helped you. I know that there's been quite a few questions of me asking where I got my cage from. It is an incredible cage. It cost me about $500, I believe it was, but it's worth every cent. It has been the best thing that we bought for our ferret. If you have a cage that you absolutely love as well, then comment in the comment section below what brand it is, how much it cost you, how long you've had it for, and where you got it from, because especially if you're around the world, because I only have a clue about Australia and a little bit about the US as well. So if you're anywhere else apart from that where you can get awesome cages, then comment in the comment section below and make sure you tell us where you got your cage from, and it'll help other people from your area to know what types of cages that they can that they can buy for their ferrets as well, which are really cool. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also make sure that you subscribe to the Ferret-World newsletter to get your free Ferret First Aid and Emergency Care ebook, and join us on the Facebook page. Always plenty of conversations, lots of ferret photos going on there, which is really cool, and lots of passionate ferret owners too. So make sure that you jump on board, and I shall see you next week.